They put you in the trash. Accept that fact and remember to thank them, but prove them they are wrong. Today we are to talk about how you will move from rejection to resurrection, what Stoics called the Stoic path of silent vengeance. Before we start, please with assurance put in the comment, "Their trash will become my triumph." There will come a time in your life when you will be cast aside, discarded, dismissed, humiliated. You will be told in words or in silence that you are not enough, not talented enough, not smart enough, not worthy enough. They will put you in the trash. You will feel the weight of rejection like a tombstone upon your identity. But this is not the end. According to the Stoics, this is where your true power begins. To the untrained eye, being discarded looks like defeat. But to the Stoic, it is an invitation to mastery, a summons to prove that no one outside of you can define you. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." The Stoics teach us to accept our fate, not to surrender to it, but to use it as fuel for transformation. Difficulties show a person's character. So when trouble comes, think of yourself as a wrestler whom God, like a trainer, has paired with a tough young buck. Epictetus, to be placed in the trash by others is painful, but it is also clarifying. It strips away illusion. It exposes the truth of how people see you. And in that truth you can rise, not to seek revenge through bitterness, but through excellence, discipline, and self-mastery. You will not beg for validation. You will build yourself into someone they cannot ignore. This essay is a battle plan. It draws from the teachings of the Stoic masters, Marcus Aurelius, Epictetus, Seneca, Zeno of Citium, Chrysippus, Cleanthes, Panaetius, Musonius Rufus, Diogenes of Babylon, and Cato the Younger. These were men who understood hardship, exile, betrayal, and scorn. And they left us timeless wisdom for how to turn rejection into powerful rebirth. They underestimated you. That's their mistake. This video will teach you 10 powerful Stoic lessons to transform insult into integrity, exile into elevation, and trash into triumph. Before we start going deeply into these lessons, first we want to thank you very much for your unconditional kindness, for liking, commenting on and sharing our previous videos. That kindness makes us strong for producing new and meaningful videos. Secondly, we want to please you to continue to correct us in your comments, to like this video, to share it with your loved ones, and to support us by subscribing to this channel for more motivational and inspirational videos. Lesson 1. Own the pain, master the meaning. When they put you in the trash, the first instinct is to cry out, "Why me?" But the Stoic does not ask, "Why me?" He asks, "What now?" Rejection is not a death sentence, it is a revelation. It reveals who truly values you. It reveals the fragility of your ego. It reveals how easily the world discards what it does. Not yet understand. To own the pain is to stare into the wound without flinching, to recognize the ache and to declare, "This too is mine. This pain belongs to me, and I will not let it go to waste." If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics believed that all external events are indifferent. Being thrown out, insulted, ghosted, or betrayed, these are not tragedies in themselves. What makes them tragedies is how we interpret them. Seneca once wrote, "We suffer more often in imagination than in reality." Yes, they put you in the trash. Yes, it hurts, but here's the truth. You are not trash unless you believe you are. Your soul cannot be stained by their labels unless you wear them willingly. Chrysippus, a towering mind in Stoic logic, argued that reason can override emotion. Pain, while natural, can be reframed through disciplined thought. The moment you assign meaning to the suffering, you begin to take back control. You must build up your life action by action and be content if each one achieves its goal as far as possible, and no one can keep you from this. Marcus Aurelius, when people dismiss you must not rush to convince them otherwise. You must convince yourself that your value is not diminished by their blindness. Like gold buried in the dirt, your worth remains. You are not obligated to be seen. You are obligated to be true to yourself, whether they watch or not. Man is not worried by real problems so much as by his imagined anxieties about real problems. Epictetus, this is the first step toward power. To stop pleading for rescue and instead take your pain into your own hands. Mold it, shape it, let it burn through the impurities of self-pity. The Stoics knew that the seed of greatness grows in soil soaked with suffering. Your story does not end with rejection, it begins there. Lesson 2. Accept what is, defy what you can. Acceptance is not surrender. It is not a weakness. It is wisdom to see reality clearly and respond with purpose. The Stoics taught that we must not waste our energy on what is outside of our control, but they also taught that we must act with fierce discipline within the sphere of what we can shape. Don't hope that events will turn out the way you want. Welcome events in whichever way they happen. This is the path to peace. Epictetus, to be discarded by others, is one such event. It has already happened. You cannot undo the rejection, the betrayal, the silence. You can only choose how you respond to it. Most people waste years stuck in resentment over things they cannot reverse. But the Stoic chooses to accept fate while shaping their character. Fate leads the willing and drags along the reluctant. Cleanthes Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, was shipwrecked and lost all his wealth. He did not mourn. Instead, he said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." That's the Stoic attitude, to see misfortune as the beginning of mastery. Acceptance is powerful, but defiance, rightful, grounded defiance, is equally necessary. Not defiance born of ego or vengeance, but of dignity. They said you wouldn't. Make it, then make it. They dismissed you. Then rise silently and build a life that contradicts every label they tried to stick on you. It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult. Seneca, this world does not hand out justice equally. Some people will be rewarded for mediocrity, while others are punished for greatness. Stoicism doesn't ask you to pretend that life is fair. It teaches you to become so strong, so focused, and so virtuous that unfairness no longer defeats you. What is to be dreaded? Not death, but dishonor. Cato the Younger, what they did to you might have been unfair, it might have been cruel, but your mission now is to turn it into fuel. Let the betrayal make you better, not bitter. Let the rejection sharpen your edge, not your hatred. Let the silence become the sound of your footsteps rising. The obstacle on the path becomes the path. Marcus Aurelius, so accept the rejection, and then defy everything it implies. Lesson 3. Don't seek revenge, become the answer. There is a temptation to strike back, to speak out, to prove yourself by crushing your enemies, humiliating your critics, exposing your doubters. But the Stoics offer a deeper path, one rooted not in retaliation but in transcendence. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius' revenge may feel satisfying in the moment, but it binds you to the very people you wish to rise above. Their actions control your emotions, their judgment shapes your direction, and instead of leading your life, you become trapped in a performance for their attention. Stoicism says, let them go. Become the answer instead. Be like the cliff against which the waves continually break, but it stands firm and tames the fury of the water around it. Marcus Aurelius, your rise is not for them, it's for you. Let your excellence be your declaration. Let your self-mastery be your reply. Let your work, your discipline, your serenity, and your power speak the loudest. When you outgrow their small opinions, their insults shrink into whispers. A wise man is indifferent to what he cannot control. Chrysippus Seneca taught that greatness comes not by punishing your enemies, but by perfecting your response to adversity. The truly powerful man or woman does not lower themselves to the level of petty insults or shallow attacks. They embody virtue, and in doing so prove the critics wrong by outliving their expectations. He who is injured ought not to return the injury, for on no account can it be right to do an injustice. Musonius Rufus, it is not a weakness to stay silent. It is not cowardice to walk away. It is immense strength to turn your back on revenge and turn your face toward progress. Cato the Younger stood as one of the last defenders of the Roman Republic. He was outnumbered, politically cornered, and ultimately lost the war, but he never compromised, he never stooped. Even in defeat, he remained morally undefeated. I would rather fail with honor than win by cheating. Cato the Younger, let this be your legacy too. Not the person who got even, but the person who rose above. Don't waste time chasing revenge. Become the kind of success they never saw coming. Lesson 4. Character is power, not popularity. In a world obsessed with appearance, applause, and approval, it is easy to believe that being overlooked or discarded is the end of your worth. But the Stoics knew better. They knew that popularity, here's fleeting, but character is immortal. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be one. Marcus Aurelius, the ones who threw you away might be louder, trendier, or more liked, but that does not make them better. Their validation does not define your value. What matters is not who cheers for you, but who you become in silence. Zeno of Citium founded the Stoic school, not in a palace, but on the painted porch of a public colonnade. There was no crowd waiting, no applause, but the ideas he taught would shape history because they were rooted in virtue, not vanity. Happiness is a good flow of life. Zeno of Citium. Wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Epictetus. They put you in the trash because they couldn't measure your value by their shallow standards. That is not your failure, it is their limitation. Seneca reminds us, it is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more, that is poor. When your self-worth depends on the crowd, you will chase illusions, but when it depends on integrity, you become unshakable. Popularity can be bought, manipulated, or faked, but character is forged in the quiet furnace of principle when no one is watching. If you are pained by external things, it is not they that disturb you, but your own judgment of them. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoics did not care to be praised. They sought to be whole, to be masters of themselves. They taught that virtue is the only true good and vice the only true evil. All else, riches, recognition, even rejection, are indifferent. Let your dignity be louder than their gossip. Let your discipline be stronger than their doubt. Let your soul be richer than their status. Let them regret discarding a person of rare character. Lesson 5. Let adversity build, not break you. If they put you in the trash, then they've done you a favor. They've exposed what you must now build. Adversity is not a curse, it is a classroom, a place where the true self is shaped, hardened, refined. Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body. Seneca. The Stoics believe that misfortune is a forge for the soul. Hardship reveals what comfort hides. It shows you where you are still fragile, still reactive, still in need of growth. Every insult, every loss, every moment of being underestimated is a weight you can choose to lift. You will meet many people who say unkind or thoughtless things about you, but it is not their actions that disturb you. It is your thoughts. Epictetus, you can choose to be bitter, or you can choose to be better. You can choose to fall apart, or you can choose to build from the rubble. It is within your power, not. There's Chrysippus, who developed much of the Stoic system of logic, taught that resilience is not accidental. It is a function of philosophical training, of deliberately testing the soul against harshness so that one becomes unbreakable. Marcus Aurelius, emperor, warrior, philosopher, wrote not in triumph but in struggle. His meditations are notes to himself written in war, illness, and betrayal, and yet they shine with the wisdom of a man who refused to be broken. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius, you are not defined by what happened to you, but by how you respond to it. Even if they discarded you, you still get to decide whether you will rot or rise. Diogenes of Babylon, another powerful Stoic, reminded us that virtue is not dependent on fortune. Your environment, your background, your reputation, none of it limits the power of your internal will. It is in misfortune that the true character is tested. Musonius Rufus, don't waste the pain. Use it. Every scar, every silence, every setback, build from it. Let the world see a structure so strong that the trash they threw you into has become the foundation of something legendary. Before we continue, first we want to thank you very much again for your unconditional kindness for liking, commenting on, and sharing our previous videos. That kindness makes us strong for producing new and meaningful videos. Secondly, we want to please you to continue to correct us in your comments, to like this video, to share it with your loved ones, and to support us by subscribing to this channel. For more motivational and inspirational videos. Lesson 6. The opinion of fools is no measure of value. When people throw you away, it's often not because you are worthless, but because they are unwise. The Stoics warned repeatedly, do not measure yourself by the standards of the foolish. It never ceases to amaze me. We all love ourselves more than other people, but care more about their opinion than our own. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic. Path demands that we break this dependency. When people reject you, criticize you, or try to define you, ask yourself, are these people truly wise? Are they truly virtuous? If not, then why should their judgment carry any weight? Don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Epictetus' words are cheap, opinions are noisy. But the character is quiet, and it endures. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, was not embraced by society when he began. He taught from the Stoa Poikile, not from an ivory tower. He was ignored by the elite, but he shaped empires of thought. The goal of life is living in agreement with nature. Zeno of Citium, nature does not care for applause. It grows in silence. The oak tree stands unmoved by the opinions of squirrels, and you too must rise above the chatter of the crowd. Stoicism teaches that the crowd is usually wrong because it is driven by emotion, by ego, and by illusion. Seneca put it bluntly, A wise man is content with himself. They will laugh. Let them. They will point fingers. Let them. They may call you names. Let them. When someone is properly grounded in life, they shouldn't have to look outside themselves for approval. Epictetus, if they threw you in the trash, it's because they lacked the eyes to see your worth. That is not your problem. That is their blindness. Your job is not to educate every fool. Your job is to walk your path so powerfully that their ridicule fades into irrelevance. Like Cato, who was mocked for his stubborn virtue, but whose name is still remembered while his critics have turned to dust. He who does not prevent a crime when he can, encourages it. Cato the Younger, so ignore the fools. Let their words fall like leaves in the wind. Your value is measured by virtue, not volume. Lesson 7. Train the will. Like a warrior, they put you in the trash. Then become the kind of person who can't be thrown away. This requires will, not wishful thinking. It requires training, not mere dreaming. The Stoics believed that the will is like a muscle. It must be trained through hardship and sharpened by discipline. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus, you may not control what happens to you, but you control how you prepare for life's blows. You control how resilient your mind becomes. The Stoics were warriors of the soul. They practiced voluntary discomfort, early rising, simple eating and emotional temperance, not out of self-punishment but out of preparation. Set aside a certain number of days during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, the while, is this the condition I feared? Seneca, this is not a weakness, this is training. You are forging armor within. You are building a fortress no betrayal can breach, no insult can shake, no failure can collapse. Cleanthes, who succeeded Zeno, once carried water by night and studied by day, enduring physical labor in pursuit of philosophy. He did not complain. He trained, and in training he gained an indomitable will. The man who has anticipated the coming of troubles takes away their power when they arrive. Seneca, they might have underestimated you because you were not loud, because you were not shiny, because you were not like them. That's fine. Let them confuse silence for weakness. Let them confuse humility for absence. Because when the time comes, your discipline will speak for you. Musonius Rufus, a great Stoic teacher, insisted that philosophy is not theory. It is practice. It must be lived, exercised, suffered, endured. The soul is harmed by anything that takes away its self-control. Musonius Rufus, so train like a Stoic. Train in thought, in response, in restraint. Every small act of discipline, waking early, mastering your impulses, denying petty revenge, showing up consistently, becomes another layer of strength, because, in the end, no one can throw away a soul that has become unshakable. Lesson 8. Silence is a weapon, not a weakness when they discard you. The world expects you to beg for attention, to shout in protest, to lash out in rage. But the Stoic path is different. It is the path of calm, composed silence, a silence not of fear, but of power. Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Zeno of Citium Stoicism teaches that silence is not passivity, it is precision. The wise do not waste words. They do not react to every insult. They do not throw pearls before swine. They measure their response, and often the best response, here's none at all. Keep silence for the most part and speak only when you must, and then briefly. Epictetus, your silence is your sword. It cuts deeper than noise. While others gossip, you grind. While others argue, you act. While others crave validation, you build in the shadows. The Stoic does not perform for the crowd, they prepare for real life. Marcus Aurelius, ruler of the known world, endured betrayal, criticism, and chaos. Yet his writings are not angry or defensive. They are contemplative, disciplined, and still. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Marcus Aurelius. Your silence proves maturity. It signals that your focus is on becoming, not explaining. You don't need to post your comeback. You don't need to argue your greatness. You only need to live in a way that makes the noise irrelevant. Diogenes of Babylon, in teaching the Stoic school, emphasized that virtue is demonstrated, not announced. Let your results speak. Let your transformation shine. Let your presence command what your words never need to explain. First, learn the meaning of what you say, and then speak. Epictetus, they will wonder how you got so far without responding. How you grew so much while saying so little. Let them wonder. Let your silence torment them, not with vengeance, but with the undeniable proof of your rise, your discipline, your calm, your refusal to explain. That is your power. Lesson 9. Use rejection as a catalyst for greatness. Rejection is not the end. It is the beginning of clarity. When they threw you in the trash, they didn't break you. They freed you. They gave you the space to build a better. You not bound by their expectations. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Epictetus. The Stoics teach us to reinterpret adversity, to reframe rejection not as failure but as fuel. If someone says you're not good enough, use that as energy. If someone shuts the door, build your own house. Their dismissal is your invitation to rise beyond them. Seneca said, "A gem cannot be polished without friction, nor a man perfected without trials." The Stoics knew that rejection was not personal. It was inevitable. Even Socrates, the father of Western philosophy, was rejected, put on trial, sentenced to death by his city. Yet in his final moments, he drank the hemlock with dignity, saying, "No evil can happen to a good man either in life or after death." This is the Stoic way. Transform rejection into resolve. To love only what happens, what was destined. No greater harmony. Marcus Aurelius, it's not about proving them wrong for applause. It's about proving yourself right in silence. It's about taking the stones they threw and building the very path they will one day have to walk to witness your greatness. Even Cleanthes, who labored as a water carrier by night just to study philosophy by day, faced rejection and humiliation. Yet he persisted, and eventually succeeded. Zeno himself. Let no one be slow to seek wisdom when he is young, nor weary in the search thereof when he is grown old. Cleanthes. Greatness was never handed to anyone. It was forged in the furnace of being overlooked, misunderstood, and underestimated. Don't fight rejection. Use it. Don't whine. Work. Don't seek sympathy. Seek strength. Because when you stop begging to be let back in, you begin to build something they can never lock you out of again. Lesson 10. Become so good. They can't ignore you. They tried to bury you, but you were a seed. The Stoics would say, don't shout, shine, don't react, rise. Your ultimate response to being thrown away is to become so undeniably excellent that your very existence becomes an answer. Don't explain yourself. Your actions will define you. Epictetus, to be Stoic is not to whine about unfairness, but to outgrow it. To use every slight, every insult, every rejection as weight to train with, until your presence carries the quiet force of undeniable value. Zeno, the founder of Stoicism, lost everything in a shipwreck. Broke and adrift in Athens, he walked into a bookstore and read about Socrates. That one moment of ruin became his redirection. He later said, "I made a prosperous voyage when I suffered shipwreck." You too can make your rejection your redirection. If you work at that which is before you, following right reason seriously, vigorously, calmly, you will be happy, and no one can prevent that. Marcus Aurelius: they cannot ignore a soul that radiates purpose. They cannot erase a mind sharpened by thought and tested by trials. They cannot laugh off a discipline that delivers undeniable results. Cato the Younger was so feared for his incorruptibility that his enemies couldn't bribe or sway him. He stood tall until the very end, not because he sought power, but because he became the embodiment of virtue. He who has a why to live can bear almost anyhow. Nietzsche, aligned with Stoic principle: let your greatness not be built on revenge, but on mastery, on clarity, on excellence that makes mockery irrelevant. When your work becomes your statement, when your consistency becomes your language, when your virtue becomes your power, then you've become so good they can't ignore you. Let them regret ever doubting you. Let them watch as your life becomes the proof. Let them realize too late what they threw away. We conclude this video with the biggest lesson. Let their trash be your triumph. They put you in the trash. They called you disposable, forgettable, irrelevant. But the Stoics taught that our worth is never in the hands of others. It's in our response, our will, our character. You've now walked through 10 lessons of fire, silence, self-mastery, and discipline. These aren't ideas for comfort. They are weapons for the soul. Marcus Aurelius, thrown into war and loss, still ruled with wisdom. Epictetus, born a slave, became one of the greatest philosophers of all time. Seneca, surrounded by betrayal, taught courage and dignity to the very end. You are not what they say. You are not the rejection. You are not the absence of applause. You are the fire that refused to go out. No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus: if you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius: so here is your choice. Stay bitter or become better. Chase validation or become undeniable. Beg to be accepted or build so powerfully that even your silence becomes a roar. Let them throw you away. Let them mock, ignore, and doubt. That's their role. Your role is to rise anyway. Let your scars become symbols. Let your work be your rebuttal. Let your life be the stage where their doubt becomes your fuel. And one day, when your excellence fills the room and your discipline builds what they never imagined, they'll say, "We never saw it coming." And you'll whisper, "You never looked deep enough." Start in the trash if you must, just don't stay there. Prove them wrong, not with words, with the life you create. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for time. Thank you very much for attention. Thank you very much for subscribing to this channel. Thank you very much for your unconditional support. God continue to bless you. See you next.